So, I'm feeling. Actually, I'm not too sure what I'm feeling, but I know it's no good. I, I know it's negative emotion, and I feel really like somber or like dejected, um, some loneliness, some frustration perhaps. And, a lot of times when I start recording one of these, I have things in mind to talk about, but other times I have no clue. And, I think this is a good reminder that the whole idea behind this is to help myself to essentially process my thoughts, because I am extremely good at being in my head and extremely bad at processing emotions. So for me, I found that pulling out the shtick, pulling out my phone, hitting record, putting my thoughts into words really helps. So I'm gonna just go ahead and do that. I'm someone that, for me, I've always, not always, or maybe always, I feel like I've always never really liked or enjoyed happy music. I've always resonated a lot more with sad music, or maybe even like mad music, right? Like some of my favorite genres are metal and particularly progressive metal. But I'm also just a sucker for some really sad songs. And I feel like it makes sense. I think sad songs help me to actually feel. I feel like otherwise it's tough for me to feel stuff. I'm so analytical and just stuck in my head, and I lived life for so many years like that. And it's honestly been quite incredible how helpful it's been to just record. I've tried like journaling and stuff like that, but I feel like this has just been perfect. And it's been really tough. I mean, I had a lot of resistance, definitely a lot less now, but had a lot of resistance to being able and being comfortable to just, oh, excuse me, to, to just be in front of the camera and to speak my mind. Even if, like, I'm not gonna post it, or I'm just like, I remember the first time I did it, I was just so resistant. I did it for like 30 seconds. It felt really weird, really uncomfortable, but I managed to do it. And it was in part because my girlfriend had encouraged me to try, and was asking me why I was resistant to trying. And that's when I realized, like, she's fucking right. Like, there is some resistance here. And that's when I gave it a shot. And that was nearly 3 months ago. Did travel vlogs, and now mostly I just kind of do shit like this. All in the aim and the pursuit of, I guess simply put, recording my journey to being myself again. To being the person I want to be, I choose to be. And, we're all born differently. We all have different strengths, different weaknesses, different dispositions. And, I've thought about this. I kind of realized, like, in a way, I've always been very highly analytical, and it definitely helps me a lot. But it's equally capable of fucking me too. And, there's a lot of years where all I did was think. Hello. all I did was think. Um, I hardly did shit, especially through COVID and quarantine. That's when things really got bad. And I guess I've just always been someone that's really good at thinking and not so good at feeling. And in a way, I feel like that's like I've noticed that like my mind kind of uses it as like a defense mechanism or like a coping mechanism, in the sense that I've noticed like when I'm emotional, my mind tries to get highly active thinking wise. I get very analytical. I start just thinking whatever, really. Like, I've realized that like it's one of the ways that my mind keeps me from suffering, from being hurt, from feeling pain. It hurts to feel emotion. It hurts to be hurt. It hurts to suffer. And I think a lot of times without us realizing, we subconsciously protect ourselves from that. And for me, I feel like thinking is one of those ways that I've protected myself for so long. And it makes sense. It sucks. Negative emotions suck, but I lived a lot of my life just, or at least a good number of years, feeling very, very numb, very indifferent, very pessimistic, dejected, all these things, and just not doing shit, and not being shit, not wanting to be shit. Because to be something opens you up to the possibility of failing, of not being that person anymore. And sometimes we passively decide to become passive, to just let life pass us by, to become complacent in the journey of life. We no longer attempt to be at the wheel. We only allow the car to steer where it pleases. As we shield ourselves, we close our eyes, we cover our ears. Oh, that's fucking funny. Holy shit, I just passed a freaking under a bridge, and the reverberation was kind of freaking gnarly. But yeah, and that's kind of how my life went for a while. And let me notice my mind. I'm noticing my mind is kind of shitting on me. The usual good stuff. I'm being cringe. People are gonna criticize me. People are bored. People are gonna stop listening. People are gonna drop a hate comment. People are gonna unsubscribe. People are gonna blah 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 blah. All the same bullshit. And that's the thing, man. A lot of us, we're not aware of the difference between who we are, our conscious mind, and who our mind is. The nature of the human mind. And we let it run wild. We let our mind control us rather than us controlling our mind. And it takes realizing that and feeling that that's a problem to create some change. And I feel like when you're numb and you just aren't feeling emotions, you end up being a thinker, right? You just spend all day, every day thinking. And man, today was a little ass because I spent a little way too much time just thinking or just distracting myself, right? I was on Instagram for way too long, on YouTube for way too long, and just killing my attention span. Most people probably can't even sit through a video of just normal human speech like this. But I can't control that. I can only control my input. In regards to emotions, I was thinking back to some memories when I was really young. And I feel like in general I've been taken back. I've been like unlocking memories, which makes sense. Like I continuously sort of push my comfort zone, explore my feelings, explore my thoughts. And you know, I've been realizing more and more that it's not an intellectual problem that's holding me back. It's an emotional problem. And emotional problems require emotional solutions. And you know, I think that's the tougher part of this equation of what I'm doing. It's the part where I have to sit through the emotions, process the emotions, just like now, where I feel kind of shit. And for me, music has always been that way of striking a deeper chord, of resonating with myself. And I would feel that like happy music just felt so fake. It felt so just, I don't know, it didn't resonate. And it's all subjective, and my experience is my experience. Plenty of people, most people probably really enjoy happy music, but yeah, I realized like sad music, I think, helped me to process the emotions that I otherwise couldn't process. I could process my anger with music. I could process my sadness through music, my loneliness through music. And yeah, it's a funny thing. Like I've realized like I honestly feel more comfortable by myself and chatting to a camera, chatting to my phone, than I do chatting with even some of my closest friends or family. And I imagine that's probably indicative of something, and I'm sure it'll be something I'll have to explore as well. Although it's not a matter of having to, it's whether I want to. And honestly, I feel like there's some resistance to exploring that. And I feel like, I tend to observe in others these kind of patterns, and I feel like that's kind of how I've gotten so good and able to kind of do it to myself. Because I've noticed all the irregularities, all the habits and behaviors, and I don't know, just the human nature that just didn't make sense to me. And I think for a lot of us, there's a lot of us that we don't feel understood. We don't feel like anyone wants to understand us. We feel alone. And I certainly feel proud and great about my approach, being being the person that I want to be, being the change I want to see, acting onto others how I wish people would act on myself, shoot my friends messages, inspirational little messages or voice notes, or comment with strangers on the internet, on YouTube, Instagram. I've been doing a little bit of that, dabbling in a little bit of that, and that's something new too. Like I used to be very afraid to use my voice. I would always observe the voice of others, try to understand others, but I felt like few tried to understand me. And I feel like I'm finally at a point where I have the strength to use my voice and to say something and to put my words out into the world and in the hopes that maybe someone else can relate. Maybe someone else feels what I feel. And, I'm absolutely certain that these people exist. So whether they ever find this video, I think that's probably the harder part. And if they find this video and also get to the 15-minute mark, I think that's the hardest part. But yeah, I don't know, it's a strange thing. And it's certainly a lonely journey at times. I do really enjoy being closer and closer to being who I want to be, and being for myself what I couldn't find in others, being supportive and confident, and just, I don't know, just in a way like, lost my train of thought. My mind is shitting on me. A little bit, not too bad. But yeah, I guess like being my own best friend in a way. And I know it's possible because I used to be that way. I used to have such an excellent relationship with myself. I just was myself. I was present. I lived life in the present. I didn't give a fuck about other people. I didn't need other people. I could do it all on my own. And I was genuinely happy for it. And I think I'm certainly heading back in that direction and finding that resilience and that strength and that nurturing spirit, reigniting that flame. I think the flame's been ignited. I mean, I dropped some videos the past few days that, well, today, I suppose, that, I've felt more alive than I have in years, man. And, there's one video in particular that I'm waiting to hopefully show up on my phone, because as I was filming it, my iPhone storage ran out. So it's currently not showing up properly, but I'm really hoping it does. I have a really passionate speech, I guess, basically, that I filmed, and I guess that's part of what I'm feeling down about. But I think in other ways, I think what's bothering me most is that I feel like, it's that I feel that other people don't care, that other people aren't interested, that other people aren't watching, aren't keeping up with me, aren't checking in on me. And even though I feel that way, I also will say this: it's very important, I think, to differentiate between how we feel and what we believe. And it's okay, however we feel is how we feel. It doesn't have to mean anything. And yeah, I feel pretty shit. I feel pretty lonely at times. Pretty sad. I feel like I have to become myself in isolation, in a way. Like I feel that if I let others influence me and I let others be around this process, I feel that they're gonna hold me back, because that's what led me to lose myself in the first place. When I had really toxic friends, really toxic influences. And so maybe it's still out of fear in some sense, and maybe that's why I still feel shitty. I still feel, not always. I've been having such amazing times and some moments of just feeling amazing. But I've, particularly now, and when I woke up this morning, I was feeling pretty down in the dumps, pretty low mood. And it's definitely still lingering now. And so I think, thinking, and especially what I'm doing now, putting my thoughts into words, thinking out loud, it doesn't always help me process the emotions, but it helps me process what's underlying, right? Like, now I know, I have some better idea that it's about something to do with loneliness, something about fear, probably fear of being vulnerable around others, like letting others into my life, and you know, stuff like that. And then that's where the opportunity is to be more mindful of that, have more awareness, and take action. Even though I feel that way, I can take action. I can believe, I can choose what I believe. I can observe my mind, observe my thoughts, observe my feelings, recognize them, acknowledge them, be honest with myself, accept myself where I am, and then decide for myself, what do I want to believe? How do I want to respond? And that's up to all of us. I think just for a lot of us, we've lost that ability to, or it's too painful. It's too painful to dive in, to dive deep, to open those chambers, to embark on that war. The war of being. And, you know, it's understandable, man. Life sucks sometimes. Things get hard, unfair shit happens, tragic shit happens. I mean, behind every man, behind every person, every human is a story. And, you know, I've never lived in anyone else's shoes. I can't tell people how they feel. I can't tell people what they've experienced. And neither can people for me. And I guess that's the thing, man. I need a... I don't need to. I want to. I want to be there for myself. I want to be active. I want to be proactive and not passive. I don't want to let the people around me, or just my interpretations of the people around me, because, I mean, just because I feel like no one cares, it's definitely going to be far from the truth. I know plenty of people really care about me. But when you're in a bad spot, man, and you're feeling something really strongly, it's very easy to just believe it, to just believe those feelings. Take them as truth. But truth is chosen. And, you know, what's going to be your choice? What's going to be my choice? And, you know, I choose to recognize the difference between how I feel and how I'm going to respond to it. And, you know, I think there's bound to be these days where I feel a little more shit. I mean, I've had some fucking crazy, just high on life periods over the past day or two. So, you know, it's only natural I come down and balance that out with some sadness, I suppose. But, yeah. I guess I'm gonna try and process emotions, listen to some sad music. If anyone at all has watched this whole video, comment whatever you want, man. I don't know, fuck it. Alright, I'm gonna see if I can process some emotions, maybe listen to some sad music. And, this will pass, I know that. Even if it feels like it won't, I know it will. And that's what I choose to believe. And I'll be okay. We'll all be okay. We can all be okay. Even if we don't feel okay, we'll be okay. We just need to not give up. Yeah, screaming men in the distance. Alright, I'm just rambling now, I suppose. Feeling pretty sad. But that's okay. I'm just gonna sit with the feelings for now. Alright. Thanks for watching, if anyone watched. Peace.